Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hello, and welcome to the video wrap-up show for the Shrimp Tank podcast here in Seattle. I'm Dan Whedon, and I'm joined by my co-host, Michelle Bomberger. Michelle and I had a fascinating and fun conversation with our guest, Marcie Glenn. You want to listen to the entire thing. Marcie talked about so many important things when it comes to recruiting. You're going to want to listen to all of it. To catch the entire episode, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find all our episodes on our website at shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle.
So Marcie, thanks so much for spending time with us today. One of the things we talked about was your entrepreneurial journey and how you stepped into another source and kind of how you felt about stepping into the role of CEO. Can you share a little bit of that?
Yes. So in January, I'm jumping ahead. In January of 2007, once the purchase and sale was complete and my mom had retired and I walked in, the minute I walked through the door, I felt like I had a straight jacket on. I felt ill-equipped. I felt confined. I felt suffocated would be a really great word, because I didn't spend any time preparing myself to be CEO. And what I've learned over the course of the last few years is that, being a great leader is a journey. It's not a destination, and it takes work every day. And it's a development process, and you have to invest in that development process. And I didn't do that coming into the role. I thought I would be just like any other day. And that was shocking. And the end result of that was I lost a lot of really great team members because I defaulted to how I was wired, which was a singles tennis player. And so it was me and the racket and solve all, win all. And that isn't a good formula for building great teams. And as we all know, you can go farther with a team and as a team than you can by yourself.
During the podcast on our Plead the Fifth section, you shared something I thought was just brilliant. We were talking about people entering the workforce. Specifically, we're talking about your daughters and the advice you'd give them. And it brought this whole thing about, especially with the staffing issues everybody has, there's got to be a relook at, oh, you have to have a 4-year degree. Oh, you have to have this. Oh, you have to have that. And you talked about opening funnels. And what I'd really like for you to do is share that commentary that you gave on the podcast, because I think it's so valuable.
Absolutely. So I think one of the jokes around our office, especially on video, is here goes Marcie's diagram of opening the funnel versus closing the funnel. And as hiring managers and the hiring process, it is naturally meant to close the funnel. You're narrowing down the process. You want one. And so it's intrinsic for a hiring manager to want to screen out people. And so what we're faced with in this market is having to reverse that. We have to open the funnel to even be able to narrow it down, to even get people in front of us to be able to talk to. And I think there's a number of things that hiring teams can do that are within their control. Yes, there's things that are monumental and can take a lot of money to change, but I want to talk about what's in a hiring team's control. And things that I would walk through is, number one, ask yourself about emerging markets and alternative workers. Can I attract a different candidate pool by looking at someone who works 30 hours a week, or who has a particular skill set that can work every other week? Or, I'm just throwing those examples out as ideas, but look at emerging markets. Ask your team, is there anyone that we're not thinking of? How can we get creative? Utilize labor market analytics. Look at where the population is changing. For example, California is for the first time ever at a -2 on population growth. That's never happened before. Idaho is at 8%. That's never happened before either in terms of population growth. So if you're sitting in an area and you're questioning why aren't people applying, there's a reason. Use labor market analytics to help you navigate that. The third is work preferences. There's so much talk going on right now about what our work from home policy is. And if employers spent more time asking their employees what they wanted and less time around a table trying to come up with the perfect policy, they wouldn't need the perfect policy, because people will want to come back because of the culture. Ask your employees what they want. Removing barriers. So this is a big one, Dan, we talked about on the podcast. Remove barriers. Can they have 2 years less experience? Can we remove a bachelor's degree? Can we remove a cover letter requirement so that we can intrigue and engage individuals into applying in? Again, we're focused on opening the funnel. If you can't raise salaries, talk about the other benefits that you have. We've got inflation. This is, not all of us have dealt with inflation as hiring teams and employers before, and now we're faced with it, probably at 8% this year. Plus, we've got wages growing because of the market that we're in a record amount. So you can't change it. Okay, let's embrace it. Let's talk about it. Talk about the other benefits. It is a key piece of it. And then I think the other thing that hiring teams can do to open up the funnel is do unconscious bias training. Talk about it. Hold each other accountable. Don't get trapped in the affinity bias like I did.
Marcie, thank you so much again for being on our show today. And for our guests who are watching, make sure you check out the entire podcast. There was an amazing amount of tips for folks who are hiring and folks who are running businesses. All the replays can be seen at shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle. But Marcie, if anyone is interested in getting more information about your company, where should they go?
They should visit us at anothersource.com. Great resources out there for individuals looking to advance their careers or make a career change and try something new, as well as hiring teams that are looking for a great partner to build some awesome candidate pools.
Great. So as I mentioned, all of our past episodes can be found at shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle and wherever you get your podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Apple. You can also follow our show on our social media pages, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Well, Marcie, thank you very much for being a guest. It was fascinating. Everybody go and watch the entire podcast. Michelle, as always, thanks to you. Please, everyone, join us every week. We live stream at 12 p.m. Pacific on our Facebook page. Our next show will be on June 1st. My co-host that week will be Craig Swanson. Please join us. Until we see you again, please be healthy, be prosperous, and have fun. Because for right now, the shrimp is back in the tank. So long.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.